knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're an Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
There is a lot of concern about Barack Hussein Obama's birth certificate, his school records, and a lot of things are not known by him or about him. And this is the first time I've ever seen a president get away with this. I have with me Wayne Allyn Root, 2008 Libertarian vice presidential nominee and best-selling author of 7 books. He is also a former classmate of Obama's at Columbia University. And Wayne want to know, why won't Obama unseal his college records? Why is he hiding so much? And I've seen Wayne on TV and different other programs. And Wayne, it's an honor to have you on this morning. Good morning, sir.
Hey, Jesse, how are you? You left out one really good title
Okay.
that everyone should know, and that is that I was the Libertarian Party vice presidential nominee in 2008. So I'm not just Barack Obama's classmate from Columbia University in '83. I ran against him on every ballot in the country 4 years ago. I was the vice presidential running mate of Bob Barr, who ran for president of the United States on the Libertarian ticket.
Wayne, I read that you graduated from Columbia the same year as Obama back in 1983, and you were well connected, but you or your friends from Columbia never met or saw Obama. How is that possible?
Yeah, it's a strange story. It's a mystery. It's a little scary to me. I don't know what it really means, but it can't be good. You know, it's funny because people think I have an agenda. My agenda, of course, is I am a real fiscal conservative and a capitalist, and I think Obama's killing our economy.
Yep.
And so I think he's got to go. But I answer the question completely honestly. I'll take a lie detector test tomorrow. I'm just answering it as it's asked. Everyone says to me, did you see him? And my answer is no. Never saw my classmate, never heard of him, never met him. Not the slightest recollection of anyone that looked like him or named Barack Obama or Barry Zedero. Nothing. And when I ask my fellow classmates, nothing. No one ever met him. And they're all, as you might imagine, extremely ultra-liberal. They're big Democrats who support him, almost everyone I went to Columbia with. So you'd think some of them might even lie and say they knew him just to protect him. But none of my classmates, they're all being honest, none of them have ever seen him. No one that I ever met at Columbia. So really, in the history of these 4 years as president, only 2 people have ever stepped forward to claim they saw him at Columbia. One claimed he was his roommate, and he's a Pakistani national, and the other one claimed that he was his roommate in Occidental and has traveled over with him. They both were accepted as transfer students into Columbia. And I got to tell you, Jesse, that's a strange story because Columbia is one of the 5 best colleges in all of America, maybe in the world. Do you know how hard it is to transfer it to Columbia? And you're telling me 2 friends and roommates at Occidental, not as good a school as Columbia, both were able to get accepted as transfer students at the same time to Columbia? The whole story really doesn't make sense.
But yet you believe that Obama went to that school, but want to know why is his life so sealed and why lawyers are spending millions of dollars to keep his life private.
Yes, I've never claimed he didn't go there. I've never claimed that that's a scam or a fraud because Columbia backs up his story. I mean, all the deans at Columbia, all the executives say, you know, we graduated a president of the United States. I can't imagine in my wildest imagination that there'd be a cover-up that would go to the top of $1 billion institution to make believe someone graduated who didn't. So let's all assume he went there. I think that brings up a different scandal, and that is, how does a guy get into Columbia when all his friends at Occidental have publicly said he was a very poor student there, one of the best colleges in America? If he was a poor student at Columbia, you assume he was a poor student because he never was in class, right?
Yeah.
And so how did he get into Harvard Law School? And it brings up the scandal of why was he never seen in any of these schools. At Occidental, I say poor student and rarely in class. At Columbia, I can testify rarely, if ever, in class. And then I got an email just the other day from my parents at Hannity. Someone emailed me and said, Wayne, his story even is strange at Harvard. I was his Harvard classmate, and I did see him in class. In an entire year, I saw him once in class. He never showed up again.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's so strange, Reverend Jesse, that I can't explain how this guy has lived his entire life as a ghost.
Your gut instinct is that Obama got into this Ivy League schools by being a foreign exchange student.
Not only that, it's not like I'm a birther, because I have no idea where he was born, and I've never ever gotten into that issue. I'll just assume it was Honolulu, Hawaii, although I have no idea. That's mysterious too. But the fact out there that no one seems to get is he went with his mom when she got remarried to an Indonesian citizen to live in Indonesia.
Yeah.
And he had to become an Indonesian citizen himself because he went to Indonesian public schools, and there's no possible way to go to Indonesian public schools without becoming an Indonesian citizen, at least at that time.
Right.
So if he did that, then came back to America, which he did, to live with his grandparents in Hawaii, it's only natural that he would have remained an Indonesian citizen. I don't even think anyone was paying much attention to him. The poor kid had no father. His mother was in Indonesia, thousands of miles away, being raised by your grandparents. In his own book, he says he was wild and smoking pot all the time.
Yeah.
He says he was a member of the Choom gang. The whole thing makes plausible sense. Then he finds out, hey, I can use this to my advantage. I'm not going to switch back to American citizen. I can tell Columbia University, I could tell Harvard Law, I could tell Occidental, I'm an Indonesian citizen, which gives me an edge in admission to the best colleges in America.
Wow. Wayne, what's your website? How can people get your books and all the good stuff?
Website is root4america.com, because that's what I do all day. I'm a patriot, and I root for America. And my books, I've had 7 of them, including 2 national bestsellers, but the most recent is The Conscience of a Libertarian. It was written right before Obama swore in as president, and I predicted everything he would do as president of the United States. You got to read this book from A to Z, every single thing he's done, and the response in our economy, the decline. I predicted all of it because I know how my classmates at Columbia think. They were all Marxists, every one of them. So you can get it all at my website, root4america.com.
Wayne, you're a good guest. I'm glad to meet you, and we'll have you back. I appreciate you.
Let's have me back to talk about economics and capitalism sometime. Love to do it.
I would love that. Thank you, Wayne.
God bless.
All right, you too. Back in a moment, folks.
This has been the Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show, produced by Bond Action. To access the full version of this show, visit us on the web at bondaction.org.